Greek, who are a non-profit, they are a for-profit company. Is there Greek? If you're here, you'll pardon me for that. I know you're for-profit. They have a digital platform that connects farmers to input dealers. Then we also have a representative from Agro Insurance Consortium, which is a coalition of private insurance providers who co-implement the Uganda Agricultural Insurance Scheme together with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development in a public-private partnership arrangement. So we are very glad to have you here, AIC, and thank you so much for the service that you're giving our farmers. We also have a representative from the Uganda Cooperative Alliance, which is an umbrella organization for all cooperatives in Uganda, and it serves as a voice of the cooperative movement at both national and international level, with a mandate to recommend to government policies related to cooperative arbitration. Then we'll have the CEO of Soybean Africa, which is also a private company which works in collaboration with Makerere University to advance soybean research. And their mission is to support the development of superior soybean varieties and the state-of-the-art soybean technologies and services, and deliver them to users in a user-friendly way. So for those of you who are planting Mark soy varieties, trust me, you've worked with these guys indirectly. We shall also have a representative from the Uganda Oilseeds and Uganda Oilseeds Producers and Processors Association, USOPA, which is an umbrella association of oil seed crops producers and processors in Uganda. We're also glad to have you here. Then we're also expecting a representative from Mukwano Group of Companies. I don't know if any of you who lives in Uganda, who has lived in Uganda for the past 20 years, has not used a product of Mukwano. So they have an agriculture arm, but they also have, they've been doing a lot of industrial production, especially of plastics, edible oils, and all other household items. So we'll be having them, but we are especially interested in them, especially when it comes to agriculture. They are really very involved in especially the oil seeds production and processing. Then we are also expecting the CEO of Ngeta Tropical Holdings, which is also a private company, Ugandan-owned company, based in Lira, in northern Uganda. They also are engaged in contract farming with farmers, especially for sunflower, in sunflower production. They do process cooking oil. And for some of you who have seen, you could have seen their product. I think it's called Virgin Gold, which is already on the market. Then we also have, we'll have a representative from the Uganda Tractor Operators Association. Of course, since we are giving out tractors today, we also want to introduce to you the supportive ecosystem that will be able to extend services to the booking agents who are now tractor owners. I'll be introducing others from the private sector as they also arrive. Otherwise, we have booking agents in our midst as well, who will be receiving tractors. I'll also be mentioning their names in due course. So for now, please enjoy your breakfast. But as you're doing that, we are going to play for you a video from the field. As I mentioned, we had a test launch some time back on June 15th, where we gave out 5 tractors to young people. And we've since then placed those tractors in the field in the districts of Gulu, Lira, Kole, Mubende, and Gulu. So those people have experienced what you're going to experience firsthand. And so we were able to take some interesting videos and pictures, some of which are already playing. So we are also going to play for you a video, and then thereafter you hear from you'll hear from the booking agents themselves on how that is going. So I'll stop here for now, and then I'll ask the gentleman to play that short video from the field, and then we'll get some farmer testimonies. Thank you.
Lutina chuli duju, lutino wane na kwene, lutino ka wanino, lutino wama okwanja, lutina chuli achuli dire achuli.
Tractors for Africa project conceived from the idea that in Africa we have a multitude of challenges that have affected the continent to the extent that people are not producing enough to feed the rising population. Over 80% of labor that is being provided is attributed to human labor, and about 20% attributed to animal traction, and then just about 5% can be attributed to tractors. This is one of the reasons why Africa cannot meet its food needs. Therefore, from the recommendations of that report, the idea of AYUTE was conceived. AYUTE means agriculture, youth and technology. And under that innovation challenge, an agri-tech startup called Hello Tractor won cash prizes together with another company called Cold Hubs, and have used that money to expand their tractor business.
So unlike traditional financing through the banks and other financial institutions, this one, the requirement is just that you pre-book land for tractor services. Now how this is done is that there's a mobile application. It's a field application which you use to pre-book farming services, and they come with 2 implements depending on the demand you show. So that you get a plow and you get a planter.
Anyone can own a tractor for as long as you can show us demand. Can also show us commitment through paying a small payment, about $2,000 US, which is about 6.5 million Uganda shillings, and within just a period of about 2 weeks, the tractor reaches them. Actually, that down payment, is also part of the whole payment that is expected for the tractor. So you do not get that in a conventional bank.
Getting a tractor is not easy. First of all, a tractor is expensive. So this program, or interfacing with Heifer International and Hello Tractor, presented an opportunity whereby somebody needed just a little amount of money, that is 0.5% I can say, the total amount of money required of a tractor.
This tractor is basically working on loan. This loan is payable within the 5 years, which is very sufficient enough for one to pay. Why I said this loan is very easy, it does not need collateral. And then how you pay your loan, they call it pay as you go. Pay as you go is ideally pay as you work. As I have worked, I am only paying 26,000 shillings per acre. So this depends on the acreages that I have plowed. Also, the beauty with this loan, it's seasonal. Season in, season out. It is very easy to work with Hello Tractor, that any commoner can even work with Hello Tractor and acquire this, because the criteria of this loan is absolutely very easy.
This is a win-win situation for both the entrepreneur and the farmer, because the entrepreneur will own this machine in a period of 3 to 5 years, while the farmer will get their land plowed.
Man put pasha put the tractor. I'm not put the dog. Mobile 20. And I'm not put it. At 20. Poor donkey rent. Pay laro shower. Very more. Kada dahi no kaba por Paul banati potapon. Meno kendo beri sisien. Fera do tabina tractor. Konyi pipuru ko wanashe. Ka koteri ba kanini jono bini porna. Pur ba porar dek ameti e kasabisia nune na shen anda te donga krepeto ko.
Those days, if I would be using like a handhole, It will take me about that 3 weeks, and by the time I want to begin planting, you realize the rain is no longer there because you know there are a lot of changes in the pattern of rainfall from this region here. But with this, I am just going to do the planting in just 1 day because even as you can see, the plowing has just been done in 1 day.
Fu ma anda fu kumberi chani ma tractor dang tiene da meta fu por ma dit ma no karma anna fu chane yan amer ne orta fu kai na fu chalo ekas adek angwen me a fu eka dere minyin bir da fu mu ken da eka adek me soya kia fu eka dek me kabigi ki anyogi gi eni olo to wako chene maana no ber buk me chulo dira lo ten kwan piana ko be cha da te kilo ten rio a che dong dira ma cha kwan olo konyo me chulo ne gang kwan
Lutino wa chano ramo wan diga diga chuli I achuli duju lutino wanino kwene jawa kwan.
In terms of running costs and maintenance for a smallholder farm, it is ideal. It suits their needs and the demands. You can also monitor things like your fuel consumption. There's driver management. The driver did this amount of work today. He told me he moved in these areas. Yes, I can also check it on the application. You can control your tractor usage. We have features such as geofencing, whereby if I'm a farmer like in Mitiana and I do not want my tractor to leave the district, I can put a digital fence called a geofence, so that if the tractor leaves the area of operation, I get an alert on my phone.
Believe that by hinging on this tractor technology, then we will be able to enable farmers be able to open more land, and therefore that will translate into more productivity, and our communities will be food secure.
There's already an impact in our lives. No longer the same as yesterday from the time we own the tractor.
I'm going to talk about AFI International. Maybe no kede initiative me konyo bulu. For your konya metimi yo bulu. Oloto atamoni ngwa metati meni ferokte lu bulu. Imap tumi yogi yai peha meginti ye. Teke la loha kuogi.
Thank you so much, Hello Tractor. You've really been our savior. You've helped the women in my community, including myself. And we are looking forward to continue working with you.
What the future holds, how the experience is in Uganda now, but also what the future holds for this initiative. And then shortly after, we'll give opportunity to the audience to ask some questions in case they need any clarification on the product or the project overall. And then we'll have the speech from the Honorable Minister. And then just shortly after the speech, then we'll walk over to the tractors and then launch this service officially, but also hand over the tractors to the young people. And then after that, we'll have some media interviews where a select number of individuals will speak to the media. And then these people have already whispered to me that they are really eager to sit on those tractors, to test them, be sure that they are real. So they will be able to do that and also take some pictures. And thereafter, we'll have lunch and then depart. We'll be free to depart. So my name is Isaiah Ainemagara, and I'm your MC for the day. I also work with Heifer Project International as a project manager, coordinating some projects in the north. And we are glad to host you all. So at this moment, I will invite the country director to give his welcome remarks. Thank you so much.
The Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture, Honorable Fred Bwino, the Honorable Members of Parliament present here, specifically Honorable Omara, who we've partnered with even before he became a member of parliament. And by the way, congratulations in public. The Commissioner for Engineering and Mechanization from Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Boniface, I'm not sure whether he's not yet here, and colleagues from MAIF, our partners, members of the press, invited guests, all protocol observed. Good morning once again. My name is William Matovu, and as Issa has introduced me, I am serving as the country director for HEFA International. You're welcome to this occasion. And this occasion is meant to hand over tractors, especially to young entrepreneurs, and that we are launching the pay-as-you-go tractor service product in the country. Isaiah has already told you that we did a pre-launch where we are testing out how the product works, but today we're doing a major function of launching that product, and we are very excited and honored to have Honorable Minister to perform the duty of launching this very product in Uganda. This launch follows a test case which we did way back in June 2022, this year, and subsequently we deployed 5 tractors in the field, which have been successful, and now we want to scale up the product. This innovative tractor service product is an initiative of HEFA International and Hello Tractor under the Tractors for Africa project, which one of my colleagues will talk about later on. The objective of this product and project is to improve on-farm productivity for smallholder farmers and to enable them achieve food security and decent incomes through the distribution of 50,000 tractors across the continent over the coming 10 years. Some of you may not know what HEFA is. HEFA International Uganda works alongside farming communities and institutions across the agricultural value chain to provide the necessary skills and capacity, infrastructure, linkages, and business mentorship, among others, to create sustainable impact. Over the years, HEFA Uganda has partnered with various private sector and partner actors in the areas of the dairy value chain, poultry, horticulture, oilseeds, among others, to transform over 4 million families in the country. And we've enabled those number of farmers I've talked about to achieve decent incomes, especially in the areas where we've had a footprint. But we've also now set ourselves an aspiration for 2030 that between last year and 2030, we want to ensure that we can support close to about 400,000 families in Uganda to meaningfully achieve a decent income as it has been defined by government of Uganda. And globally, we're looking at close to about 10 million farmers. And when we talk about those numbers, we want to ensure that we can meaningfully transform them. We go to those families, and indeed we can testify that we have moved them from where we are, and we've enabled them to really achieve what we call a living income. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, the African continent has the least number of tractors deployed per 1,000 hectares of arable land. In fact, you on average have about 2 tractors per 1,000 hectares compared to 10 tractors per 1,000 hectares in Asia. So that tells you a story of food security on our continent. So perennial dependency on the hand hoe, which account for about 80%, and animal traction, which accounts for about 15%, has characterized our farming systems for decades with associated drudgery. Consequently, only 40% of Africa's arable land is being utilized due to lack of necessary equipment to open for production. It is not surprising then that Uganda imports close to about 30 million, US dollars worth of food annually to meet its production deficit, despite the fact that we have good weather and good arable land. We still have some agricultural products that we're importing. This is despite the opportunity of such as its arable, relatively fertile soils, and the good climate and the cheap labor that we have, and the ready regional export market, among others. One of the major challenges that farmers are facing, especially women and youth, is the limited access to finance, and often due to lack of the necessary collateral, they are not able to really get access to equipments like the ones that we're seeing in front of us, tractors, so that they can be able to mechanize their production system. This was confirmed in a study which was commissioned by us, HEIFA International, last year in 11 African countries, where we were able to speak to 30,000 youth. And the study found out that youth could not start or sustain business due to lack of finance, lack of access to land, lack of access to mechanization, among other productive resources. So it's for that reason that we thought it wise to be able to innovate this product in collaboration with our partners, Hello Tractor, as we'll explain to you later. So to solve this and other challenge, HEIFA International is leveraging technology to stimulate disruptive innovations that will impact the agricultural food system to ensure that food security and that we can create employment at different nodes of the value chains, for which then we have an opportunity to engage in. One such innovation is the pay-as-you-go tractor service that is being deployed by Hello Tractor, an agri-tech company using a tractor sharing mobile application to connect tractor owners to farmers and vice versa. So our role is to support and scale up such new business models and use the cases such as the pay-as-you-go tractor service product to meet the needs of the smallholder farmers and consumers in the food system in a more sustainable way. As such, HEIFA International has invested US dollars 4.5 million to scale up this innovation, and that's across the continent. However, we look forward to crowd in other investors, donors, development partners to invest in this project so that we can achieve our target of 50,000 tractors in the coming 10 years across the Africa continent. So if Uganda can demonstrate that we can usurp more tractors, the better for us, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Industry is aiming to commercialize the agriculture sector through the agricultural mechanization and modernization at farm level. So through the National Agriculture Advisory Services, NADS, we know that some tractors have been given out, okay, and distributed country-wise. Therefore, this innovation that we are launching is complementing and supplementing government efforts of mechanization of the farmland so that we can be able to ensure that our farmers can produce for export and for meeting our domestic needs. And this is very much in alignment to the National Agricultural Policy as it has been articulated by the government of Uganda. At HEIFA International, we pledge to continue supporting farming communities and institutions to access the equipment they need to achieve the production potential, especially for commercialization, because we think that's extremely very important, more so for creating job opportunities for the big number of young people that are emerging year by year in this country. Therefore, I congratulate the booking agents, the new tractor owners who are going to be hand over these equipment, okay, they are entrepreneurs and they will be receiving their tractors today. Please, the new tractor owners, make good use of the equipment. Go out and serve farmers in a diligent manner. It's a business, and we wish you well in a new business that you've chosen to take on. Thank you for listening to me and for God and my country.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much, the country director, for that moving speech. You've heard that we have a target of 50,000 tractors with an investment of over $4.5 million US. So for the young people out there, please do take this opportunity to ensure that you own a tractor and are able to start a business for yourself. So as the next speaker prepares, we are going to be having a testimony. As we mentioned, there was a first test launch where we gave out some tractors, and so a representative of Alito Joint Multipurpose Farmers Cooperative will step forward to give a testimony concerning the tractor that they received. But as he does that, as he prepares to come, we'll have just a brief short video playing, showing the other tractor owners who are already in the field with their tractors. Thank you.
Lutina chuli duju, lutino, wanena kwene, lutino, ka wanino, lutino, wamago kwanda, lutina chuleu, achuleu, tire achuleu.
Tractors for Africa project conceived from the idea that in Africa we have a multitude of challenges that have affected the continent to the extent that people are not producing enough to feed the rising population. Over 80% of labor that is being provided is attributed to human labor, and about 20% attributed to animal traction, and then just about 5% can be attributed to tractors. This is one of the reasons why Africa cannot meet its food needs. Therefore, from the recommendations of that report, the idea of AYUTE was conceived. AYUTE means agriculture, youth and technology. And under that innovation challenge, an agri-tech startup called Hello Tractor won cash prizes together with another company called Cold Hubs, and have used that money to expand their tractor business.
So unlike traditional financing through the banks and other financial institutions, this one, the requirement is just that you pre-book land for tractor services. Now how this is done is that there's a mobile application. It's a field application which you use to pre-book farming services, and they come with two implements depending on the demand shown. So that you get a plow and you get a planter.
Anyone can own a tractor for as long as you can show us demand. Can also show us commitment through paying a small payment, about $2,000 US, which is about 6.5 million Uganda shillings, and within just a period of about 2 weeks, the tractor reaches them. Actually, that down payment, is also part of the whole payment that is expected for the tractor. So you do not get that in a conventional bank.
Getting a tractor is not easy. First of all, a tractor is expensive. So this program, or interfacing with Heifer International and Halo Tractor, presented an opportunity whereby somebody needed just a little amount of money, that is 0.5% I can say, the total amount of money required of a tractor.
This tractor is basically working on loan. This loan is payable within the 5 years, which is very sufficient enough for one to pay. Why I said this loan is very easy, it does not need collateral. And then how you pay your loan, they call it pay as you go. Pay as you go is ideally pay as you work. as I have worked, I am only paying 26,000 shillings per acre. So this depends on the acreages that I have plowed. Also, the beauty with this loan, it's seasonal. Season in, season out. It is very easy to work with Elo tractor, that any commoner can even work with Elo tractor and acquire this, because the criteria of this loan is absolutely very easy.
This is a win-win situation for both the entrepreneur and the farmer because the entrepreneur will own this machine in a period of 3 to 5 years, while the farmer will get their land plowed.
Aman pod pa cha pod ke tractor. Anno pod ke dog mobil tuani. Ana mana pod ke. Eto tuani pur dang di rent pe laro chawa. Beru mumot. Kara da henu ka ba por pol ba na ti pota pol. Meno kendo beri chien. Fera do tabina tractor konyi pi pur ko wa chen. Ka koteri ba kan ni jono bini porna. Tor pur ba porar dek ameti e ka sabisia nuni na chen anda te donga kre peto kor.
Those days, if I would be using like Handover, it will take me about that 3 weeks, and by the time I want to begin planting, you realize the rain is no longer there, because you know there are a lot of changes in the pattern of rainfall from this region here. But with this, I am just going to do the planting in just 1 day, because even as you can see, the plowing has just been done in 1 day.
Fu ma anda fu kumberichani ma tractor dang tiene da meta fu por ma dit ma no karma anna fu chane yam amer me orta fu kai na fu chalo ekas adek angwen me a fu eka dere minyin dir da fu mu ken da eka adek me soya kia fu eka dek me kabigi ki anyogi gi eni oloto wako chene maana no berbuk me chulo dira lo ten kwan piana ko be chanda te kilo ten rio a chel dong dira ma cha kwan olo konya me chulo ne gang kwan
In terms of running costs and maintenance for a smallholder farm, it is ideal. It suits their needs and the demands. We can also monitor things like your fuel consumption. There's driver management. The driver did this amount of work today. He told me he moved in these areas. Yes, I can also check it on the application. You can control your tractor usage. We have features such as geofencing, whereby if I'm a farmer like in Mitiana and I do not want my tractor to leave the district, I can put a digital fence called a geofence, so that if the tractor leaves the area of operation, you get an alert on my phone.
I believe that by hinging on this tractor technology, then we will be able to enable farmers be able to open more land, and therefore that will translate into more productivity, and our communities will be food secure.
There's already an impact in our lives. No longer the same as yesterday from the time we own the tractor.
I'm going to talk about to Talbot AFI International. Maybe no kede initiative me konyo bulu. Po yo konya meti mi yo bulu. Oloto atamoni ngwa meti atime ni peroke lu bulu. Imap terumi yo giyai peha meginti ye. Teke la loha kuogi.
Thank you so much, Hello Tractor. You've really been our savior. You've helped the women in my community, including myself. And we are looking forward to continue working with you.
Thank you so much for watching. Now we will hear from the gentleman from Alito, Mr. Emmanuel Obedigum, who will give his brief testimony, please. Emmanuel.
Still morning. I want to recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister, State Minister for Agriculture, Honorable MP, and other visitors who are amidst us in your various capacity. I want to say good morning to all of you. Yeah, before you is Obedigumi Manuel, who is working with a little joint farmers multipurpose cooperative society based in Kwale district, northern Uganda, some 25 kilometers from Lira City, if you take the western direction from Lira City. Yeah, briefly, a little joint started way back in 1998 with 5 members. Currently, we have grown to 16,815 members, distributed in 14 districts of Lango Acholi, and part of Karamoja sub-region, in the districts of Kole, Lira, Yam, Kwania, Leptong, Padeo, Moro, Noya, Utuke, Abim, and Molata. Actually, all of Lango, in a part of Acholi, we are in Noya, Pade, and Agago. And then in Karamoja, we are in Abim district. We have, out of the total of 16,000 that I've talked about, 9,504 of them are female, and we have 7,311 male farmers. And we have a total of 10,920 youth. If I talk of youth, those who are below the age of 35 years. Yeah, we started way back in that year that I've mentioned. The interests or the main reason for the founders was to take farming as a business, and it is the same thing which is still driving us moving forward. We started in oilseed production. By then it was sunflower which was taking the lead, but we also added now other crops, soybeans, and also food security crops like maize, cassava, and other crops as well. When we were approached in the year before that, we were operating at a local level where we could pick our oars, we go to the garden, we dig what we can, and you plant. But we were not in position to really catch up with the business that the founders were actually they were driving towards, because you find somebody taking like the all week opening a piece of land, or even 2 weeks opening a piece of land. So we kept on struggling with that challenge, but in the year around last year about when we had a visit from AFA International, we shared with them some of our challenges, which among them was agricultural mechanization. We said we have farmers, all right, and our mission, our interest is to take farming as a business. But we are not seeing ourselves growing, and the challenge that farmers have presented to us is one of them is mechanization. Then when we shared with them, they gave us opportunity. They introduced us to Elo Tractor, which by the time they introduced us, we really appreciated, we picked the interest. Then we were trained this year, we were trained how to access, we were told what we need to do in order for us to have the tractor. So they told us to first do the booking, which we did. Now, by the time we were doing the booking, of course, as a cooperative, we have many farmers in different districts. So what we had to do, we had to train, few of our staffs were trained, then later on, this staff train able youth from our cooperative, and we do the booking. So they help in booking, in moving like other areas. Then within a short period of time, we were able to meet the target. Then later on, around June, we were called. I think we were the first lot to receive the tractor. We were given the tractor, and right away we started using it. Around July, it was delivered in July, and we started using. Of course, we had a tractor, But of course, the tractor that we had was not in position to meet all this. Actually, if I'm to say average, we have like close to 30,000 acres which we need to plow yearly. But one tractor cannot manage. Actually, even up to now, we are having 2 tractors, but still we are not in position to meet the target, though the pressure is now reducing. Now, when the tractor was delivered to us, we introduced this tractor to farmers, and also, we had to employ somebody to come and operate this. Actually, we have now we now have 4 people who are attached to tractor directly. That is the operator and the assistants. So, which means that we have increased the level of employment. Now, we started plowing. So, at first, because we had some money, we thought of, why don't we make the payment prior? But of course, we were trying to bring this because we were having the pressure. But when we were told that this tractor you are going to pay as you work, then it was like a relief to us because we were having that pressure. Now, how are we going to make this payment? So when we were told we are going to pay as you work, then we started working. So every week, we make the calculation of the number of acres that we have plowed, and they generate the invoice, then we make the payment. Currently, we have plowed so far. As I said, we started in July straight away. We have plowed so far 140 acres of land. I know most of you are aware of the climate change of this year. It is kind of disturbing. So on top of what we have been doing, we have now added, to support the other tractor, more 140 acres has been plowed in this short period of time. So we are expecting more in the nearby future. Then, as you also watch from the video, we only pay 26,000 per acre. So which means in average, you can meet the cost of close to maybe 70,000, paying the tractor, paying the fuel, putting the fuel, and also paying the operator. So the other one is now for your pocket, I can say. So it is for your pocket or for your saving. So it depends on how you are charging for your from your region, but that is the average cost that you can meet at the current fuel price. I want to really thank AIFA International for what they have introduced to us. We are not really going to go back. We aim to move forward. As I told you, we have very many farmers, we have very many gardens, so we are hoping we're still going to get more tractors in order to help us catch up or to cover all these farmers. Then we have also created, as I've told you earlier on, we have created a job for other people. Then currently we are now in position. Actually before, as I told you earlier on, we used to go with our oars. At some point we advanced to oxen, but still it was not meeting the demand and the pressure of the time of the climate, which is unpredictable at this time. So right now we are in a position to open our land timely. Then also farmers are in a position to make the best use of those lands which was actually not being used. So we are in position to use more land compared to those days where you could only use what your energy can afford. More production has been realized. As I told you, we are more into soybean production. So we are in position to increase the volume of the product. Currently, this year we are expecting by the end of this season, like early October, we may have close to 200,000 metric tons of soybean seed in our store. Currently, we have stocked close to 80. So, with help of this tractor, I believe it is going to make us achieve all this. Then, to every youth, no majority youth. Actually, right from our cooperative, we have more youth. That is close to 10,000. This initiative, which is being introduced to us by AIFA International, it is very good for our own development. If you can apply for this, because buying a tractor, it is not possible to an ordinary youth in Uganda. But with this program, Pay As You Go, you are in a position to own a tractor, even if you have very little money. So you will own the tractor as you work. You will be paying. Then at certain point, you will be having it now fully yours. Then this tractor is not so much demanding. It is easy to maintain. You are sure of its security because you can monitor where it is going, how much acres has been plowed, something like that. So if you have this tractor, you are sure of its security. Then it is good for women. Of course, we know women are like in our value chain, women are more into the garden. So if we introduce this, they will have less work, but more product, more output will be realized. So this thing is going to help women to catch up. Then it is employment opportunity to all of us. Also, I talked of the increased opportunity. Then of the opportunities that we see ahead of us, we still have more land. We also have high adaptation of mechanization. The climate change, we all know it is unpredictable. So without the technology, you can't gain more from your garden. Then more farmers is coming, or they are joining commercial production or commercial agriculture. And then some of the few challenges that we have still facing, there is fragmentation of land, unreliable climate, there is a lot of tree stumps in most of the gardens, which is still affecting the operation of our tractor. And then we also request, if possible, all the agents, most especially for this one, they can be helped to monitor these tractors. I think it will help them to be more confident seeing their business growing. I want to thank you all. May God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma, for sharing with us that experience. And hopefully the new booking agents or tractor owners can pick a lesson or two. We shall also open up a network for you to be able to interact with even the broader network of booking agents who already have these machines. Now, in the interest of time, I request that we move on to the next item, which we'll just do in 15 minutes. We are going to have a panel discussion where we are going to have the coordinator for Tractor for Africa project, Lanre, stepping forward together with Winnie Mokeira, who is the portfolio manager for the PayGo service, to give us deeper insights about the service, about the project, and then what the future holds going forward. Just give us a minute. Good afternoon, ladies. Very honored to be speaking to powerful ladies this morning. As I introduced, we are having a panel discussion, especially articulating the product and the overall project that is hosting the PayGo service. So ladies, I'll ask you to introduce yourselves, and then we can go forward, starting with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lanre Onito, and I've come 20 hours to get here today to be with you all the way from the Heifer Regional Office in Lagos, Nigeria. As part of being a consultant for Heifer, I lead the Tractors for Africa initiative across the continent, for which Uganda is one of our implementing countries. And I'll be talking to you about, why the project as we go ahead. So, but thank you for having me in Uganda, and congratulations to all of the beneficiaries today.
Thank you. My name is Winnie Mokeira, and I am the portfolio manager for the PayG project. So I oversee Kenya, Nigeria, and now Uganda. And I'm delighted to be here today. I'm so happy to see some of our current PayG customers. Yes, so I'm ready for the session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Winnie. So Lanre, tell us more in depth about the Tractors for Africa project.
Okay, so just as the video and William, the country director, alluded to, it's really very strange for the continent with the most arable land having to import food. We cannot feed ourselves. It is estimated that by 2025, we'll be spending $110 billion as a continent to feed ourselves. For those of us that are not young people, not youth, the older ones, I'm sure you remember that in the 1960s, 70s, we're actually a net exporter of food. But at the moment, we now import so much food, we can't even feed ourselves. The Tractors for Africa project started following the Ayute regional competition that Heifer hosted, and we had Hello Tractor being one of the companies that got the funding. In 2021, Hello Tractor got $1 million to be able to scale up the work they were doing with the pay-as-you-go tractor financing. And at that point, we were able to use that $1 million to be able to pilot with 17 tractors in Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda. And with that, Heifer saw that this was actually creating impact for the smallholder farmers. And Winnie will be telling us a bit more about how they do this. But as a continent, we have less than 15,000 tractors annually. Meanwhile, in the likes of Asia, they do almost 1 million tractors. What do we do? How do we ensure that we're able to feed ourselves? And that was the basis for Tractors for Africa. I want us to imagine if we have 50,000 tractors, which is our target on the continent. Do you know what that means? It means that 90 million smallholder farmers will be able to get access to tractor services. And another bonus on that, just like the man from the cooperative mentioned, those 50,000 tractors will create at least 500,000 jobs. So one tractor can actually be a transformative force to feed ourselves, to create jobs, to create opportunities. We heard from the video the woman that was able to pay school fees for her children just because she was able to open more land. Productivity, income, and all of that would increase. And that is the essence of Tractors for Africa. To date, Heifer has invested $4.5 million to be able to catalyze this opportunity and for us to be able to see the impact. With the $4.5 million, we have been able to give about 100 tractors. And over the next 10 years, just that 100 tractors will create about 7,000 jobs, would also impact about 1 million farmers. So you see why one tractor that we're seeing here, and for those of you that are having the tractors today, your work is not, it's a business for you, you will earn income, but the work is beyond just the income for yourself. It is the impact that you'll be creating for smallholder farmers, for your community, and for your country. And that's the essence of Tractors for Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lanran. Very, powerful statistics you're giving us there. So where is this project being implemented, apart from Uganda?
All right, so our pilot countries are Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda. And these were the 3 countries we decided to pilot in. The project is for Africa, and we're looking to expand as we go on. But the first 3 countries we're starting in are Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda.
Okay. Thank you, Landry. And now I'll move on to Winnie. Winnie, what is Hello Tractor, and what are you setting out to do, especially what we're also looking out for in this partnership with Heifer International Uganda?
Thank you. So Hello Tractor is an agri-tech company, and what we do is we provide an IoT solution where we connect farmers to tractors. So what our platform is a platform where we have the booking agents. They're able to book for work, and for this work we are able to connect them to farmers within their area, and they're able to service that work. So we are working with partners. So our funding partner is Heifer International, but we're working with various partners in the various countries. So in Uganda, we're working with AAS. We're also working with Mukusu Motors. We're also working with VAT Africa Solutions. So those are the partners we're working with here. And we're also working with John Deere, who are able to provide the tractors at the moment in Uganda. And we're also looking to expand that and to work with more other partners in the area.
Okay, thank you, Winnie. The country director mentioned in his speech earlier on that tractor usage in Africa is about 2 tractors per 1,000 hectares. What could be the reason for the low tractor usage in Africa?
That is attributed to the expensiveness of the tractors. So you find a tractor is about 30,000 USD to 40,000 USD, and very few people in Africa can afford that. And when you go to the traditional banking systems, you find that you need to put in a down payment, you need to have collateral, you need to have history, financial history for you to access financing to buy a tractor. And this is where Hello Tractor is coming in. We are coming to break that kind of barrier for the youth and for the young people and for anyone who wants to own a tractor, so that you're able to own this tractor easily just by booking and by putting in a small commitment of, as he said, just $2,000 thereabouts. So that's what we're doing currently.
Okay, thank you, Winnie. We've been getting a multitude of questions from the youth out there. If a youth out there wants to own a tractor, what is the criteria for owning one under this PG service?
So there are just 2 basic things that anyone needs to do with us. You need to pre-book 500 hectares on the Hello Tractor app, and to put in a small commitment of about $2,000, which is an equivalent of about 5%. So in Ugandan shillings, as I said, it's about 6.5 million Ugandan shillings. That's all you need to do with us, and to have an entrepreneurial spirit so that you can run this business throughout the course of the maybe 3 to 5 years. That's all we require.
Okay, great. And then what brands, today we are seeing John Deere tractors, but what other brands do you usually give out under this PG service?
Yeah, so we work with several partners. So in Uganda, for instance, we've been working with John Deere, and we are open to working with anyone else. We have New Holland. In Kenya, we have Case. In Nigeria, we have Sonalika and Indofarm. So we are still open to working with more partners and having other brands on board. Yeah.
Okay, great. Then the other thing, I know that in Uganda, most people will ask for, say, a disc plow. But what other implements are also available on the market that you could connect these young people to?
Okay, so this is interesting. So I've been seeing in Uganda, we only ask for a disc plow and a harrow. But we have a variety of implements, and we encourage all of you to apply for all these other implements. We have rotavators, we have planters, we have ridges, all those implements are there. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to speak about conservation agriculture or climate smart agriculture. I've even trying to push for this, I've not received any requests for anyone asking for conservation agriculture implements, which I would love to hear from Uganda. We have more renters who want conservation agriculture implements, such as chisel plows, such as reapers. Yeah, so those are the...
I think that's quite important, because I think as one of these people who are testifying here said, you know, some of these implements can only be used for part of the season. So then what happens thereafter? Because you see, a plow can only be used during the plowing season, but then, you know, you've got to plant, you've got to weed, you've got a lot to do. So I also wanted to find out from you, how different is this PG product from other conventional products on the market? Why should a young person choose this over others that may exist, especially with commercial banks and other financing institutions?
Okay, so I think the first thing, it's an attractive product because we are breaking the barrier. When we won't ask you for collateral, like a bank will ask you for collateral. We won't ask you for financial history. We understand that some of the young people have not had an opportunity maybe to even own a bank account. Like in Africa, I only know like maybe 56% of everyone has a bank account. So we know some people do not have that, but when you go to a bank, you need to have, you know, bank statements saying you've been doing this work for this long and so that you can get money. So we do not ask for that. So I think those two mainly, and also the fact that once you join our program, you will get training to be an entrepreneur. That's one of the things that we do. We train you to be an entrepreneur. At the end of the 5 years, even when you're done with Halo Tractor, you will be able to run this as a business on your own. You'll be able to still make money from the tractor because you got the training while with us. I think also another thing is because it's pay as you go. So unlike traditional banking where I'll tell you, you take this tractor, it's $40,000. Every month you pay me $50,000. I don't care where you get it from. I don't care. I just need the money. So for us, the difference is pay as you go. So as you work, you plow 10 acres, you pay for 10 acres. You plow 50 acres, you pay for 50 acres. So I think that is the main thing about the program. That, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Winnie. And now over to you, Landry. We've piloted this project in Uganda. I'm certain, as you mentioned, in other countries as well. What are some of the experiences or early lessons that we've learned from this project as we plan to scale it up?
Okay, so we've learned a lot of lessons, and I must thank Uganda for giving us the opportunity to learn. Uganda is the only country we've implemented that cooperatives have actually gotten access to tractors. In Kenya and Nigeria, tractors were only gotten by individuals. And I'm really happy because cooperatives gives the opportunity for more and more people to be able to get access to tractor services. Other key lessons that we've learned, I mean, it's very, very interesting when they say that people without financial history, we cannot, you know, we can't lend to them, they're too risky. One of the early lessons we've seen over 9 months of implementation is that in every single country, nobody is defaulting. Everybody is paying back. Because, like we've said, it's pay as you work. And the technology allows us to see what you have done. And with that, everybody pays back. And what we've also seen is that even in some countries, people are even paying more than what we require them to pay. So we've seen, so when we tell our the financial institutions that we're wooing that we have 130-something% repayment, they're wondering, what do you mean 130-something%? That's because they pay more than even what is required. And it means that the service is working. We've also seen that the final beneficiary, who is the smallholder farmer, because what we say with the pay-as-you-go program is that we know that this tractor can go to a commercial farm and service a commercial farm, but we don't want that. The little number of tractors we have on on the continent is for commercial farms, but we want smallholder farmers to be able to get access to tractor services. And what we've seen is the transformative effect of one tractor on different smallholder farmers' lives in different households. We've seen how it has opened up more opportunities for them, not just to improve the productivity and yield on the hectare or acre that they are farming on, but they've been able to open up more land. And they've been able to, you know, start working from being subsistence farmers to scaling up their operations, improving their incomes. And the transformation is really, really, really huge. One other key thing that we've seen is also the transformative effect of a female tractor owner. And most people do not understand why that, you know, makes a difference. We've seen that within the service provision, We have more women smallholder farmers embracing more female tractor owners. They're able to share their experiences, share their concerns, and we've seen more and more female farmers getting services from these female tractor owners. We have a young lady in Nigeria who's a very young girl. She's a university student who was able to access a tractor. And number one, she's been able to encourage more young people to come into the space, because first, we say that agriculture is not even cool enough for young people. Now, when they saw her that she was able to own a tractor, more and more young people have come forward to ask for tractors, and she's been able to open more opportunities for women who are farming in her community, and they've been able to open up more land and increase their income. Those are some of the lessons. And in terms of what we have learnt as well, what we have seen is that in every single country, we hear the same thing. We want to discard the hoe. We want to discard using oxen, because the truth is that doing all of this is more expensive. It's actually more expensive to do it manually. And then we're wasting money and we're wasting time. I don't know about Uganda, but the lesson from Nigeria is that all the people in the rural areas are moving. So even the labor we had access to is no longer there. How do we ensure that we increase food production? It's through tractors. Thank you very much.
Very powerful. But also, as people leave the villages, the aging, the people who used to do the farming, who are in advanced age, are no longer able to do that, so which further justifies the need for tractors. Yeah. So Winnie, as we conclude this discussion, what does the market outlook, what does it look like for Uganda, and what are the prospects for investment going forward?
So, as you mentioned earlier, we had the test earlier in June, and for the 5 renters that we gave, we were able to hand over tractors to. They've all performed very well, and they're all working, and they're all repaying they're servicing their loans. And going ahead, we want to also, and most of these renters are in the north, so we want to go to every region. We also want more youth, and we want more women. So I'm happy for this launch we have at least 5 women. For the first launch, we did not have any women, which was a bit, I was feeling some type of way. Thank you. So I'm very happy we have 5 women this time, and I want them to be even more. And then we also want to talk to you about, to encourage you to also shift to conservation agriculture. I'd want to hear more people wanting reapers, more people needing chisel plows, that kind of thing. But yeah, we're moving ahead. We're going to have more of these launches. We're going to have more of these handovers, when they're going to, as Landry said, we're going to make it to 50,000 tractors in Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Winnie. As to crown it, Landry, what are the prospects for the T4A project?
Okay, so in conclusion, what I would like to say is Heifer cannot do it alone. Like we said, $4.5 million might sound very huge, but $4.5 million only provided about 100 tractors. And we've said 50,000 tractors. So you can imagine what the budget for 50,000 tractors would be. However, what we see, or what we would like to leave for all of us to consider, is in line with what William has said. Well, he concluded his speech. Heifer cannot do it alone. We need to crowd in other investors. We need everyone to come on board on this vision, because this is a vision we're relying on, a vision to put 50,000 tractors on the continent. And I'm sure Uganda would take a lot of that, because we know that you need it. So what we see is Heifer will continue to invest, but we cannot do this alone. We need donors, development partners, government, everyone to join us on this journey, because it's a journey of supporting our smallholder farmers, creating entrepreneurs, and most importantly, feeding ourselves. We can't continue the way we are. If we want to change our continent, the first thing is food. Before you start innovating, you can't innovate when you're hungry. So we need to be able to ensure that we feed ourselves, and we cannot do this alone. So the parting shot for me is to say, join us on this journey, and I'm sure that we would have so much impact to create together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lanry. I feel very confident after this discussion with you going forward, and I hope everybody else is. So please, you can take your seats. Thank you. So we just need a minute to clear the stage, and then we'll be going over to the next item.
I'm so addicted to hauling a sente. Tally con expiry date. Puli casera jagalambe wendi. Jangu, come a little bit closer, baby. Tempera, one mess I need to sit up, Puveyo. Takala Puveyo. Take care.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for still being with us up to this juncture. Thank you so much for your patience. At this juncture, allow me to take the honor of inviting the Honorable State Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Fred Bueno, to make his remarks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Member of Parliament and my brother and friend, Honorable Omara. My friends from the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, the Country Director of Haifa Project International, my friends from different organizations, including IFAD, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored to be with you this morning. For those who may not know me, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Bueno Fred Chakulaga. I'm a member of Parliament, and I represent people from a constituency somewhere in the east. It's called Chiguru North, and the district is Iganga. But I'm also the Minister of State for Agriculture. Now, you have listened to various people. You have listened to the country director of HIFA project. You have listened to the testimonies from the field. You have listened to the panel discussion. I believe that you now have a lot of information. But allow me to make a few comments. First of all, I thank HIFA International for the initiative. And I particularly thank them because what they are trying to do is well aligned to our mandate as a ministry, and it's well aligned to the planning frameworks of the country. Vision 2040, the third National Development Plan, and other planning frameworks. So I thank them because whatever they are doing is complementing what the government of Uganda is supposed to do. A few weeks ago, I was again with HIFA International at Sheraton Hotel, and at that event we were awarding younger people that had participated in a challenge involving agriculture technology, under the Ayute Challenge, Agriculture Youth Technology Challenge. And for those that attended, that was a very, very exciting initiative. And now we are here this morning to witness yet another very, very important initiative. How I've understood it is that through this initiative, HIFA International is helping us to kill two birds with one stone. As we are aware, as a country, the biggest challenge that is facing our main contributor to GDP, agriculture, most especially to the smallholder farmers, is the challenge of financing, and particularly for the youth and women. So they're trying to help us to address the challenge of financing. Financing at two levels. Financing at the level of acquiring technology for mechanization. As you are aware, these machines are very expensive, and our people are unable, they cannot afford to buy them. So one bird is using the pay-as-you-go facility financing model to enable entrepreneurs to acquire tractors. But the second bird is for the farmers. The second bird is the assistance to the farmers to access mechanization, which to some is just a dream. You heard from the previous speakers that Africa has the biggest arable land. However, tractor usage is very low. And at the same time, the percentage of that arable land that is under agricultural production is very, very low. The whole of Africa, only 40% of the arable land is under agricultural production. But for Uganda, it is even worse, because only about 35% of our arable land is under production. So, this initiative is poised to address some of those challenges. So today, as you are aware, we are going to, one, hand over those tractors to some of the entrepreneurs that have already accessed the facility. But at the same time, we are going to launch the pay-as-you-go financing model. As a ministry, I want to pledge our support to this initiative. We are already working with the initiative. Our engineers, the commissioner responsible for agriculture engineering is here. Engineer Boniface Okanya is already working with the initiative in various ways. We are available and we are ready to give you the necessary support to ensure that this initiative succeeds. Because if this initiative succeeds, then it will be our mandate that will have succeeded. Probably just to give you a bit of the picture. In Uganda, we estimate that we have about 4,000 tractors in the whole country. But that figure may be misleading, because some years ago, some of our neighboring countries came here and bought a lot of our old tractors quietly and took them out to their countries. So the figure of 4,000 may be deceptive. Actually, we have taken a decision as a ministry to carry out a census of the tractors in the country, so that we have an accurate coverage of tractors. We are doing this in the preparation for the implementation of our strategy. We have a strategy to increase tractor coverage in the country, which I believe, if we work alongside with this initiative, we shall be able to achieve in a very short time. But under that strategy, we want to look at the various capacity of the equipment. We want to start with the big equipment for stamping, for removing stamps and removing yes, it's very crucial. As we were watching the videos, my colleague, the Honourable Member of Parliament, was showing me. You were saying that, you see, the tractor is plowing there, but the trees are still in the field, meaning that the tractor is dodging where there are trees, where there are stumps, meaning that at the end of the day, this lowers our efficiency, the amount of ground covered per unit area, per acre, per hectare. So we have taken a decision to grow, or rather to develop a fleet of large equipment for that purpose. And we are going to place that large equipment in sub-regions. In 19, are they 19? Yes, 19. 19. Yeah, 19 regional mechanization centers that we are going to establish. We have already started on the journey. We have already established one in Buama, in Mpiji. We have established one in Mbale. We're in the process of establishing another in Chiriandongo. We're in the process of establishing another in Chiruhura. So we are determined to establish such sub-regional mechanization centers, and we are going to put there large machines that can be accessed by the farmers to remove stumps and to do that kind of work that cannot be done by this size of tractor. But on top of that, our intention is that we want to buy more tractors as government and put them in the districts. But on top of buying tractors and putting them in the districts, we want to repair those that are already existing in the districts, so that we have a functional fleet, a functional national fleet. To make the fleet functional, this engineer here is going to put up a maintenance workshop at each of those sub-regional centers. A fully fledged maintenance workshop, together with some mobile workshops to back up in the cases where you don't need to pull a tractor and bring it to the sub-region. Then they can move and go to the field and repair. But on top of that, we want to create local capacity. We are going to train operators in those respective districts. We are going to train mechanics in those respective areas. So this sub-regional mechanization center is going to be a center for maintenance, a center for training, a center for various technical support to the population. So once again, I thank Haifa International for coming up with this project. And as I conclude, I take the honor to launch this pay-as-you-go financing model. And later on, I'll have the honor to hand over. I think we shall move outside and hand over. Now, having said that about this initiative and about our strategy for mechanization, particularly mechanization on the field or in the garden, allow me to say a few things related to this before I conclude. One is that alongside the mechanization, our intention is to develop mitigation for climate change, so that our people don't depend on rain for agricultural production, because this is one of our main challenges. Climate change is here. It's a global challenge. We are going to combine building capacity for irrigation with restoring degraded soils and other environments. so that we can restore. We can restore mountains that have been cleared of trees, and because of this, we have had a lot of landslides. So that we can restore vegetation on such slopes of mountains and hills. But also, we want to restore wetlands. And government will soon come out to announce our move towards that direction. But we are going to combine that with building irrigation capacity. Having said that, we have 4 other interventions that we want to prioritize in the next 2.5 years. One, the issue of disease control. Disease control. Disease control for crops, disease control for animals, disease control for fish. Most especially in view of the effects of climate change. With the effects of climate change, we have had a lot of problems with pests and diseases for crops, animals, and fisheries. So, disease control is going to be one of our major focus for this period. But number 2, the issue of seed. You see, you can mechanize, you can modernize your practices, but if you don't have the right type of seed, the right quality of seed, then you'll not get it right. So, as government, as the Ministry of Agriculture, Animals and Fisheries, one of our key priorities is to ensure that the right quality of seed is availed to the farmers. And particularly, as government, we are going to concentrate on the duty of developing the early generation seed so that we avail clean, good, early generation seed to the seed multipliers who may be private people. And then we shall also ensure that we regulate those that are multiplying the seeds. Because if we just leave it to them, we shall continue with the problems of counterfeit. I know that you have heard of people that just get grain from Wino market, from Nakasero market. You go and buy grain and color it, and it becomes seed. Seed is delicate, and it is developed and grown in a special way. So we shall ensure that the standard operating procedures for developing seed are followed to ensure quality. But another area that we intend to concentrate on is farmer education. Farmer education. We want to come up with innovative ways of reaching out to the farmer. Because currently we have the challenge that for every single extension worker, there are almost 2,000 farmers that have to be reached. It's unrealistic. A single person cannot effectively reach out to 2,000 farmers. So our plan is to come up with innovative ways, for example, using social media, for example, using the telephone, using radio, FM radios, using TV, using village meetings, village barazas. So that's another area. And finally, we want to for the first time, come out clearly and work with large-scale farmers. Because previously, we have mainly supported the small-scale farmers, the smallholder farmers. Of course, rightly so, because they make the majority of the farming community. Almost 80% of the farmers are smallholder farmers. So all our efforts have been with the smallholder farmers, and even currently through the parish development model, we are targeting the smallholder farmers. But as we do so, we are likely to face another challenge, most especially in as far as food security is concerned. Because as we deal with the small-scale farmers, we are advising them that please emphasize high-value crops, emphasize high-value enterprises, emphasize coffee, emphasize poultry, emphasize piggery, emphasize all that. But as we do that, we seem to be creating a new challenge on food security. These smallholder farmers may not concentrate enough on food crops. So we want to mobilize the large-scale farmers to grow food for this country, and we want to establish food reserves where government will buy the food produced by these large-scale farmers and put it in the silos across the country, so that if there is scarcity, then we can release that food to the general circulation. But the other danger is on strategic crops. Actually, when I was listening to the country director of Haifa International, he said that currently Uganda imports food worth about $35 million US. But I wanted to tell him that on top of that, we are importing vegetable oil, worth 300 million US. And that's quite a big, that's quite big, yes. Yes, that's quite big. That's quite big. So we want to reverse that. And how do we reverse it? We want to mobilize large-scale farmers to grow vegetable seed crops. And I'm so glad that we have the champion here. We have the champion here. Honorable is a champion of vegetable oil seed. And we thank you, Honorable, for that effort. He has mobilized, most especially in northern Uganda, and is doing a good job. He has just told me that he's giving out 8,000 kilograms of sunflower seed currently. He has actually already given it out for the population to grow as a measure to mitigate what I've just talked about. Having said that, I know you are eager to witness the handover. Otherwise, I would have talked on and on and on and on. We have a lot to converse about. You'll allow me to end at that with reiterating our readiness to support the initiative. We shall work with you so that we ensure success, including ensuring that we track, because you know Ugandans are so interesting. So we have to track and be sure that the tractor is actually working, and where it is plowing, you are giving returns and you are paying as per agreement. You know, if you just leave it, they can say it's not working. But we need to use technological means to monitor and ensure that for every acre plowed, the return is received accurately and the payment for the tractor is made. With those few remarks, I thank you all for turning up in such big numbers. And I wish you a good day, and I wish you good participation in this initiative. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, the Honorable Minister, for those remarks. We are trying to rush the program because the weather these days changes so fast. So I'll ask the members of the media to kindly clear the way. And then for the rest of the audience, I know you've also been seated since morning. So I'll take the same opportunity to ensure that you guys are healthy. We will also get up and then we join the minister over there, but we'll keep a good distance so that the media is also able to take some good shots. So Edith, I now hand you over to Okay, so I'll just give some guidance. So we are going to do this in two stages. One, we are going to launch the tractor by cutting the ribbon. So I'll count to 3 and then Honorable Minister will request you to do that. And then after that, we'll use this key to turn and launch the pay-go service. Yes. Okay.
Are you nearby?
Okay, so I've been told to spell the word tractor. So the moment I finish R, that is when you'll cut the ribbon.
Okay.
So T, R, A, T, O, R. Thank you, Honorable. And now we'll move to the second stage, which is launching the PG service. So I guess you'll face one of the tractors. So that will symbolize the thousands of engines.
Are you going to count again?
I'm going to count up to 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3, turn. Good.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We have just finished launching the tractor initiative as well as the pay as you go initiative. I thank you very much for turning up. As government, this is complementary. We shall give you the necessary support. Thank you.
Thank you, Honor.
Yeah? before you leave, we'll also request the booking agents. Let's just get a few representatives also join the dignitaries here. Booking agents. Minister wants to test one of the machines. Agents, please sit on the tractors. We also need to take some pictures of you. Yes, so you're going to hand over to Madame Claire Atto here. Yes. Okay, so we are going to have a few media interviews and would like to use this. So, Minister, we'll start with you.
Let me give you a secret, yeah. Deepest of my heart is the safest place. So, baby, turn to me and say, girl, I love your body. I panic when I see your body. I admire your body.